be honest, driving next to a big trailer can feel a little stressful, and for good reason. So, in the next few minutes, we're going to dig into the hidden physics and the real risks of towing, all so you can share the road with a lot more confidence. You know that feeling, right? You're just driving along, minding your own business, and then boom, this massive truck and trailer is right there next to you. Your knuckles go white on the steering wheel, and all you can think is, I gotta get away from this thing. Well, guess what? That instinct you have is totally spot on. Towing isn't just like adding a bigger trunk to a car. No, it completely rewrites the rules of physics for that vehicle. And understanding that is the real key to staying safe, whether you're the one towing or the one just driving nearby. So let's take a closer look. That trailer back there, it's not just some passive box being dragged along. It's an active force, one that creates all new kinds of risks. It totally changes how the main vehicle accelerates, how it turns, and this is the big one, how it stops. To really get how to drive safely, we've got to understand the dangers first. And you know, all those risks really boil down to what I call the big three. These are the main challenges that the driver towing the trailer is constantly trying to manage, and they're the ones you really need to be watching out for. Okay, danger number one is probably the scariest one, trailer sway. You might have heard it called fishtailing. This is when the trailer starts swinging back and forth, just whipping from side to side behind the truck. It can get out of hand incredibly fast and cause the driver to lose total control of the whole rig. It's a nightmare scenario. So what's the number one preventable cause of that terrifying sway? It's all about how the trailer is loaded. And this right here is the magic number. For that rig to be stable, about 60% of the cargo's weight must be in the front half of the trailer closer to the truck. If it's loaded wrong, that trailer basically becomes a giant, uncontrollable pendulum. But it's not just about the weight. A powerful gust of wind, going too fast, even a sudden jerk of the wheel can set off a sway. Or imagine a tire blows out on the trailer. That can start the whole dangerous dance too. The driver is basically in a constant fight to keep things stable. Now for danger number two, and it's something you might not even consider, what the driver can, or more importantly, can't see. You see a truck and a trailer, but for the person behind the wheel, they're surrounded by these gigantic blind spots. Their regular rearview mirror, useless, and the trailer itself can completely swallow up a car driving right next to them. You could be totally invisible. And the third major danger, well, it's just pure physics. When you add thousands of pounds of trailer to a vehicle, you dramatically increase its momentum. That means stopping is no longer a simple tap on the brake pedal. Oh no, it's a whole different ballgame with much, much higher stakes. So here's what that actually looks like on the road. Stopping distances get way, way longer. Turns have to be taken super wide because the trailer's wheels will cut the corner tighter than the truck's. If they don't swing wide, they'll hit the curb, or worse, another car. And then there's the risk of jackknifing. If the driver has to slam on the brakes, the trailer's momentum can cause it to swing around and fold in towards the truck, just like a pocket knife. Game over. Okay, so those are the dangers. Kind of scary, right? But now for the good part. How do you take all that knowledge and actually use it? Well, this is your defensive driving playbook for staying safe anytime you're near a towed trailer. It really comes down to these three simple but incredibly powerful ideas. It's all about creating a safety bubble, making sure the other driver knows what you're doing, and basically thinking one step ahead of them. This is it, the golden rule. If you forget everything else, just remember this one. Space equals safety. Space is the buffer. It's the one thing that gives both you and the towing driver the time you need to react when something unexpected happens. So what does giving space actually mean? Well, for starters, back off. Increase your following distance, double or triple what you'd normally do. And whatever you do, never cut in front of them and then slow down. They just can't stop on a dime. When you pass, do it with purpose. Don't just hang out in their blind spot. And maybe give them a little extra breathing room in their own lane because a strong wind could push them over at any moment. All right, rule number 2 is all about helping the other driver out. Your job is to make it as easy as possible for them to see you and to have a pretty good idea of what you're going to do next. Surprises are not our friends here. Here's a fantastic rule of thumb. If you can't see the driver's face in their side mirror, you have to assume they absolutely cannot see you. So stay out of those huge blind spots. Signal your intentions way earlier than you normally would. And when you're passing, keep your speed consistent. No sudden moves. Now, the final rule is what separates a good driver from a great one. It's about going from just reacting to what's happening to actually being proactive. You're thinking ahead, you're understanding the unique stuff the other driver is dealing with. For instance, you see a trailer getting ready to turn at an intersection, expect that wide turn. Don't try to sneak by on the inside. Know they're going to be a lot slower going up hills. And hey, if you ever see someone trying to back up a trailer, just give them some room and some patience. Trust me, it's way harder than it looks, and they will definitely appreciate it. When you put all this together, giving space, being visible, anticipating their moves, it all points to one big idea: shared responsibility. Sure, the person towing has a huge job to do, but every single one of us on the road helps create a safe environment, or a dangerous one. And check this out. Here is a brilliant little pro tip that just perfectly shows the kind of detail that goes into towing safely. It's about the safety chains. You know, the ones that connect the trailer to the truck as a backup? So why do you cross them? Well, think about it. If that main hitch connection somehow breaks, the cross chains form a kind of cradle. The front part of the trailer, the tongue, falls onto that cradle of chains instead of digging straight into the pavement. It's such a small thing, but it's a detail that could prevent a truly catastrophic accident. It shows you just how much thought goes into this stuff. And that really is the big takeaway here. You don't ever have to tow a trailer in your life to benefit from knowing this stuff. Just understanding the challenges that other drivers facing, the blind spots, the stopping distance, that risk of sway, it makes you a more aware, a more empathetic, and ultimately a much safer driver for everyone out there. So the next time you're on the highway and you pull up next to a trailer, I want you to remember the physics, the blind spots, all the forces at play. And knowing what you know now about what that driver is dealing with, what's one thing you're going to do differently?
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.